And welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. And David Cobb, the national spokesperson for Move to Amend. MoveToAmend.org is on the line. Today is the 4th anniversary of the Citizens United Supreme Court decision. And quick heads up, as apropos of that anniversary, Free Speech TV will air a special presentation of Move to Amend's new short film, Legalized Democracy, tonight at 9 p.m., produced by Dennis Traynor of Acronym TV. So be sure and check that out. David, welcome.
Thank you, Tom. It's always a pleasure to be on.
It's always great to have you with us. So, we talked with Caitlin yesterday, I think it was, briefly, and kind of got an update on what's going on. But tell me, you've been traveling all around the country, where are we at?
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you that we are way further along than I thought we would be. Move to Amend was only founded in 2010, and you know it because you were one of the first 50 people to actually join. So we went from about 50 when we launched. Today, Tom, we are at 325,000 and growing.
Wow.
We have helped 500 communities pass resolutions in support at the city council or county governmental level. We have put it on the ballot 50 times where ordinary citizens can vote on it. And, Tom, that includes traditionally Republican and conservative areas like rural Wisconsin, where in Ryan's district, in fact, we put it on the ballot in rural Ohio where they were voting for Mitt Romney by over 70% of the vote. We put it on the ballot in the state of Montana, in Utah. Tom, we put it on the ballot in conservative areas, liberal areas, middle-of-the-road areas. We haven't lost a single one of them. In fact, we've also helped 16 states pass resolutions of support, and Move to Amend has helped to organize over 150 local affiliates, local citizens coming together to commit themselves to a constitutional amendment to make it clear only living, breathing human beings have inherent and inalienable constitutional rights, and that money is not speech. Because we know what you know, what your listeners know, because they watch you and listen to you, and that is this problem is not just about money and politics. This is about stealing our sacred right to self-government by creating an illegitimate idea that corporations have constitutional rights, which means corporate lawyers can overturn public interest laws, environmental protection laws, worker safety laws, as well as campaign finance laws. So when you ask me where we at, we way further than I thought that we would be, but we've got a lot further to go.
We're talking with David Cobb, the national spokesperson for MoveToAmend.org. David, there's a bunch of other groups over the last couple of years that have kind of jumped on this bandwagon, and no small number of politicians. And very often they say, sign our petition, and by the way, send us $25 or send us your email address or whatever to roll back Citizens United, or sign our petition to say that corporations aren't people. Why is it that those measures are not adequate to the task ahead of us?
First, I want to acknowledge that we, too, use a petitioning process as an organizing tool. So I don't fault anybody for using organizing tools to organize people.
Yes.
I do think that one thing that makes Move to Amend very unique is that we don't just organize names and do internet activism. We actually do trainings, we do workshops, we do presentations, we launch ballot initiatives, we do bird dogging campaigns, we do canvassing, we do the Legalized Democracy. We actually put our people, we give them tools and train them on how to use them to become more engaged citizens. Because as you cover on your radio program and on your television program, there is no shortage of problems that we need to have good, effective citizen action on. So I think that's one of the things that makes us different. Another thing that makes us different, and I want to say this lovingly but clearly and honestly, and that is we are sincere that we are not going to compromise a constitutional amendment that is clear and unambiguous, that no artificial entity has the inherent and inalienable constitutional rights of human beings. Because, Tom, the Constitution doesn't create these rights. The Constitution recognizes these rights.
And protects them from government trampling.
Exactly, and protect them. And we agree with that, Tom, because think of it this way. In a very big way, the Constitution exists as a shield that says, stop. Government, you can come no further because I am a human being and I have rights. And even if government and the political process does not like what I have to say, I have the inherent and inalienable right to express myself. I have the right to worship or not as I choose. I have the right to associate with who I want. Government should not be able to infringe upon those areas. And Tom, this is the dangerous thing. If a corporation or a nonprofit corporation or any artificial entity created under the laws of the state can use the power to say government stop, it means that we, the people, cannot control the institutions that we actually create through the state legislative process to incorporate at all. And we are different because we're not going to compromise on that. We do not believe that any artificial entity has any inherent and inalienable constitutional rights. It is an illegitimate legal doctrine created by the courts. It is illogical. It is immoral. And we are fusing that because we know that corporate personhood is not the only legal doctrine, but the equally odious, also court-created doctrine that says that money equals political speech. Those two things must be fused in our democracy movement because, as our documentary says, we have to legalize democracy in this country because currently we, the people, have not only had our sacred rights stolen from us to self-government, but what pisses me off as a lawyer, Tom, they're using our legal system to legalize the theft. And we at Move to Amend say, ya basta, enough already. We need to build a broad, deep social movement that's multiracial, multi-ethnic, that cuts across political ideologies, but is clear and unambiguous that the concept that we, the people, are sovereign and we rule ourselves, that is sacred. That is sacrosanct.
Well, and this is one of the areas where the Tea Party folks, I mean, setting aside the billionaires who fund the Tea Party, they disagree with you and me. But the average person who shows up for a Tea Party meeting and says, government, get out of my life, they agree with people like me, who I call myself a liberal or even a democratic socialist, and we just agree. This is
Tom. I have given my standard presentation to Occupy groups, and I get applause, I get laughs, and I get a lot of encouragement. And you know what? I've given this presentation to Tea Party groups, and I get laughter, I get applause, I get encouragement. Now, I want to be clear, that laughter and applause comes at totally different places, but it still comes. The core idea that we, the people, govern ourselves, that government does not have the right to infringe upon our core political and civil rights, there is virtual unanimous consensus amongst the American people. If you ask the question that way, we agree. And that's why Move to Amend is very clear. We're not an issue. We're a principle. We're a movement that says you may disagree with David Cobb or Caitlin Siposi-Belknap or Jerome Scott or any of the rest of our national leadership spokespeople. You may disagree with us on individual issues, but if you agree with us that the Constitution of the United States was created in order to form a more perfect union, that it exists to make it clear that we, the people, govern ourselves and that we get to decide how our institutions operate, with this one important exception, and that is no institution associated with government in any way can infringe upon the individual inherent and alienable rights of a living, breathing human being. If you agree with that, you actually agree with Move to Amend. And that's the reason we've been able to actually reach across political ideologies and say, we're going to have fights over issues, but around the concept of how our government operates, let's get together and take it back.
Yeah, it's remarkable. David Cobb, the national spokesperson for Move to Amend, movetoamend.org is the website tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Calibrate for your local time, wherever it may be, on freespeech.org and, of course, on Free Speech TV. If you have Free Speech TV, Dish, Direct, they're on a lot of cable systems, too. The film Legalized Democracy will be playing. So, David, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for what you do to get the word out to the American people.
There you go.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.